Good evening, everyone. I hope it finds everyone well and doing great. Hope you're up for another Ramblings of the Chaotic Mind. Figure while I have time before I go back to work on Thursday. I figure I'd get another podcast in, retest out some of my stuff as well. Getting the Eddie mic hooked back up and some lighting. Even though everything in here is kind of bare, still in the process of picking out furniture and what we want. But I do hope everyone's doing well. I have a few topics I actually want to ramble on about tonight. I'm sure you guys pretty much will figure out where I'm going. But, interesting thing is, which I thought was funny and interesting, you guys might not, but there's been a lot of talk about store shelves and stuff being empty and bare. Now, you hear the talk. I'm guessing this probably might be regional area specific, but in the end, till you get out and about, see what's going on for yourself. You just gotta you just can't take people's word. And like I said, this might be area specific, but I also know this new batch of COVID shit that's going on. Yeah, a lot of people are been getting sick. Place I work at, I've seen a bunch of people go down. Hell, I'm on fucking quarantine because my sister caught it. I'm perfectly healthy and fine. Feel great. Ready to get back to work. Bored out of my fucking mind. Let me tell you. Can't wait till Thursday. But what else do I got to do besides venture around, explore, pick out furniture, hazmats, stuff that I really don't want to do right now. I hate moving. It's easy for me to move. I don't have hardly anything. I can move myself in a short bed in my Dakota truck. Everything will fit in the back. So when I move, it's simple. It's a little bit of different challenge for me. It's like, oh yeah, now I gotta actually have stuff. But so I've been out and about past couple of days, shopping, looking, browsing. I was in the Walmart, Myers today, dollar store. I didn't see a single bare shelf. I don't see nobody panic shopping, panic buying. I'll find out tomorrow when I head back to Ohio. Now I'll check out the stores there, but I'm not seeing it. And I've always talked about this on this channel. Too many people out there will jump on something and cry wolf. Should we be prepared for something like that? Hell yeah, we've seen it happen last year. You couldn't find a piece of toilet paper. You couldn't even find baby wipes. People were buying them up. So yes, we know it can happen. It's good to be prepared. But by now, I hope you guys are prepared for things like that. Now you see the importance of it. But, some people take things as a joke. And don't pay attention. Or, they go to listen to all these your favorite streamers. Oh, people are panic buying. You need to get stocked up. I think you guys need to knock that shit off. You're just fueling the chaos. And truthfully, that's what you're doing. You're fueling the fire. By now, most of your viewers already know what to do. You become worse than the fucking mainstream media. Shit happens. We're under a pandemic. Now, I'd be more worried about the things that are happening right now. I heard, Bree brought it up too. So, like I said, maybe this is area and regional specific. But in the areas I've been in, places I've been, I don't see it. So take it with a grain of salt. But, I feel us as podcasters, streamers, we need to not be like the mainstream lame media or like Alex Jones, the king of fucking fear porn. We don't need no more chaos. We got enough chaos in the world. We got enough fear porn in the world going around. Hate it when I see my feeds full of that crap. Especially when I go out about shit, everything's fine. Everything's stocked up. Now, I have noticed smaller chain stores. So if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, which is where we're eventually going to lead anyway, let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. Where do I see things like that happening? Places like Kroger's. Jeez, these smaller, older businesses that are being cut out. They're now the new mom and pop stores because they're not the mainstream Walmart, Kroger, or not Kroger's, Myers. It's now online shopping, which they're trying to force upon you readily. It's these smaller stores that have been around for years. They're now the new mom and pops. Those are the ones that are being targeted. Those are the ones where I have seen shows in stock fair. I haven't seen it at Walmart yet, not my area. I haven't seen it at the dollar store, which conveniently, kind of where I live, just down the road is the main distribution center for fucking the dollar store. That place is huge. I don't see them running out of inventory. I see trucks coming in and out of there every time I go by. Just like all these Amazon warehouses and stuff. They're pushing us to do more and buy online. Have it delivered. We want you to get your whole house set up for smart technology. So they can come in with their little iPad or smartphone, unlock your door, set the package inside. Don't do that at my place. For one, I don't have that stuff, and I never will. And I won't rent a place that actually has that stuff. Kiss my fucking ass. I have enough loss of privacy right now. Gotta have a cell phone. Yep, there goes your privacy. I do podcasts. Yep, there goes your privacy. I have a Fire Stick. Oh, there goes more of your privacy. Recording everything you say all the time. Yeah. But then again, if I got something that important to say, it's not going to be around an electronic device. Rest assured of that. But too many people these days want to have everything online. Want everybody to know where I'm at. Hey, I'm over here. Wow, we've discussed that before. I mean, that's just the madness that we live in this day of age. Oh, yes. Speaking of madness, YouTube, what the fuck? Why do I gotta verify my fucking shit every time I want to fucking do a live stream now? We need to verify this is you. Yeah, it's me. Who else would it be? Only one that does anything on this channel. I had to do it 3 times. When I was setting things up from earlier, made me do it. Then when I finally I had to go change something. And I was testing something. Made me do it again. And then when I went to go live, it made me do it one more time. What the hell? Google? What, you want to make sure my phone's connected? Don't miss the notification on your phone. You have to redo it again. I think that's the biggest fucking bullshit. I'm just getting so sick and tired of paranoia. Security risk. I don't want to know half a dozen different passwords, half a dozen different PIN codes that I can't fucking remember. I keep things simple. I don't need complex. If I want complex, I'll go inside my own fucking mind. It's chaotic enough. Speaking of mines, what the fuck? I can't even fucking post a video on your fucking spot. None of the video links are showing the video, so I've shared a couple things. Well, I guess you got to do it the old-fashioned way. Actually, click on the link. But yeah, I mean, it's paranoia. It's fear. I mean, fuck, it's almost October. But it's been Halloween every fucking day for almost 2 years now. Still got people wearing their masks. Ha ha. I can go full screen. That should be full screen. Or are you talking about full screen with video? Normally I got screen share going, but for some odd reason over here on the Minds, the Gathering app, in our groups, it's not letting me stream share from my own fucking group. I don't know why. I was over on Free Express's group on the Minds, and I had no problem sharing screens. Oh, I can fix that. There's not much to see though. Maybe that'll help. I guess I'm used to sharing screens and having a bunch of different things floating around in the background. I don't like being on cam much, but I sometimes do. I guess that didn't help either. I guess yeah, that's better. I can get full screen that way. You know, like I said, this push for the food shortage that's been going around, like I said, it's got to be regional because I don't see it. In the area that I'm in. Plus, the last couple of weeks between where I'm at now, back and forth to Ohio, and I don't see it in those areas. And where I used to live in Ohio, I mean, I lived out in the country, so I ain't really I'm 45 minutes away from what they consider a big city, and it's not a big city. Sorry, Toledo's just a small city. And I didn't see it in that area. Uh, and like I said, all the store shelves are stocked. I mean, hell, they're opening up an Aldi's here in this area. It's like, wow, okay, why am I having internet issues? I guess I'll just fix that. Yeah. I have a couple friends out in Texas. I haven't heard from them in a while, but I don't know. I like it where I'm at in the general area. My next move, though, Gonna be back to the mountains of North Carolina. A lot. Just I don't know. Once you get down there, get settled in for a few years, then you come back to the flatlands of Ohio. It's like, why'd I move back? But hopefully, in the next couple of years, I'll be back in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Not familiar with Greenback. Tennessee, Clarksville, everybody goes. But I actually like the McMinnville, Collin area. What's that one park out there? It's where they filmed the waterfall scene for one of the Rocky movies, I think. Can't remember the name of the park, but I was around that area for a little while. I loved it down there. You know, plus it's a different environment, different, which I think Melissa, you understand, being in a red state. When you get in the southern states, it's different. It's more patriotic. You find more of your patriotic folks down there. People that mind their own business, they still say yes sir, yes ma'am. Those fuck, I still say it. I've been back in Ohio they're back north for almost 3 years now, and I still got my southern vocabulary. But then again, some of you that actually know this channel, I'm a direct descendant of John Rutledge, who was one of the signers of the Constitution, the only Supreme Court justice never to be nominated, but he was appointed and sat on the Supreme Court justice until his nomination. And, I've talked about the history there. For now, I'm keeping that kind of quiet where I'm at. I'm kind of enjoying my not letting people know where I'm at. I ain't far from Ohio. I ain't in Michigan though. I'm somewhere in Indiana, and this is only going to be temporary. But I'm enjoying it. I like to change the scenery, new faces. I've lived in Ohio for long enough to know that it's time to get out of there. Funny little historical facts on Ohio. I don't know how many people ever got into reading some of the Washington prophecies, George Washington's prophecies. They are kind of interesting. But he talked about Ohio. Everybody wanted Ohio during the Revolutionary War. And they were moving in. It was where they wanted to stake everything. But in one of George Washington's prophecies, he basically, I don't know if it was because of his interaction with the Native Americans or not, and I can't remember which tribe's language, Ohio meant woe. Biblical version of woe unto thee. Yeah, that's Ohio. And, he prophesied that Ohio is where the battles are going to be fought. Where, I don't know, call it superstition, call it whatnot. I'm not a big fan of prophecy anyway. Because, I'm not sure my opinions on that sometime on one of these podcasts. Pretty sure it's probably on a Ramblings to the Chaotic Mind. But with prophecy, you got zealots. You got people that are going to try to not make it happen. You got people that's going to try to make it happen. Much like we see with our government. Yeah, a lot of people are. I mean, my parents kind of the same way. I mean, man, they tripped. I, I, I wasn't here a day in the new apartment. Get a phone call. My dad, like, okay, what's he want? He's like, your sister's got COVID. I'm like, oh, great. Mind you, she's fully vaccinated. Well, is there any way you can come back and take your sister? She's got to be in Fort Wayne to get an infusion. I'm like, you do realize this is going to cost me work. I'm going to have to be quarantined. But I get it. Dad's diabetic, up there in age. My mom's up there in age. So, yeah, I get it. I'm the healthiest one, but I'm also the only one working. Which is okay, I guess. I'm going to be off at least a week anyway, because I was around her Saturday morning. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. I come back, and good thing I called Sunday, because come to find out, it was Monday that she was supposed to go. No, I have not. I will not get vaxxed. So I took her to Fort Wayne, contacted work, figured out what I needed for that. She's like, you're going to have to do a 10-day quarantine, or you can go get tested on a Friday. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't get tested. So I'll just take the 10 days. I got shit I got to do anyway. And, just in case. But I'm perfectly fine, healthy. Drove with her all the way down from Ohio to Fort Wayne, Indiana. No mask. Waited for her to get her fusion. Dropped her back off. Came back to the apartment. Perfectly fine. Full of energy. Excellent. Well, full of energy. It's kind of nice after all the amount of hours of overtime I put in this year. I think I'm at like almost 360 hours of overtime that I've done this year. So this has been kind of a nice little vacation. Granted, it's going to be at 2/3 pay. But hey, I needed the break. I can catch up on the bills later. But and I was I've always been thinking about this. And this is a reason for the propaganda, the psychological warfare, how they're teaching people at school, the programming and stuff. It is to strip you. I mean, the whole transgender movement was stripping you of your identification. Yeah, I've went on a rant and rave about that one. Hence some of my overtime problems. Or it's just not that. It's just nobody wants to work. Well, fucking socialist government kind of fucking helped that along, didn't they? I mean, don't get me wrong, the stimulus check was kind of nice, but it wasn't free like everybody thought it was. We've got to pay for that somehow, some way. There's nothing free. I've lived in a socialist country. Nothing's free. I've got more experience dealing with socialism than most people. It's the only thing socialism leads up to is communism. And if anybody truly understood their history about socialism, well, let's go back to World War II. And we'll go back a little bit farther too. What was the socialist movement? It was the Nazis. It was the neo-Nazi Socialist Party. Brazil. That's why I said it's so important to know your history. And it's so important to pass that history on because we're seeing it being stripped away layer by layer. You know, that's part of the whole. I called it the digital. In this digital age, the new book brain. It's the digital book brain. It's stripping down everything. Yes, it actually was very, especially where we were. My mom's from there. My mom's from Brazil. My dad's American. Yeah, I have a tendency to smoke a lot, especially when I'm doing podcasts. Okay. So we get that situation where and I got friends all over the world. So, and it's kind of funny, you know. Somebody posted something on the Minds of newsfeed about it's sad that I gotta watch another country's news to get my own country's news. And that's very true. That was something my dad said back in the '80s when we were in Brazil. You know, you actually got more of the real news from the other country's news network than you got here, which is true. I mean, especially nowadays age. And it's important to keep an open mind on everything. It's like I said, I got a lot of shit in my feeds talking about all this shortage. But yet in my areas, I don't see it. And by now, it's come to the point where if you didn't learn your lesson last year, and you don't got stuff stocked up by now, well, it's your own downfall. But, and like I said, let's get into the ultimate root of that issue. There is something there that nobody's talking about. Yeah, what's going on in Australia, people should be fucking paying attention to. That's what they're trying to do here. What they're doing over in Europe and Britain, they're trying to do that here. They're already starting. There are already people. Where I got our government talking about passports. Travel state to state, you're going to need a passport. And that's actually going to get onto one of my major ranting topics. Is what's taking place right now. I gotta love all these people out there that called Trump a fucking, he's a dictator. He's not gonna get out of office. Well, I'll be goddamn, we don't got a dictator in office right now. Because that's what a dictator does. Strips you of your civil rights, your constitutional rights. Strips you of telling you can't go here, you can't work here because you don't have a vaccine. I've talked about the haves and have-nots, where everybody is now officially labeled. Everybody's in the database. Some of you guys laughed at me for that one. Yeah, I think it's quite funny for those that laugh, because now you'll see it. Now, there's talks, well, you can't go in the store if you can't prove you're vaccinated. there comes a point where we've gone beyond enough is enough. In the end, yes, it ain't going to be a pretty one. Of course, nothing in warfare is pretty. And that's what it's going to come down to. Hence the push for the military. You have to be vaccinated. You can't say no. You say no, we're going to dishonorably discharge you. Then when they do that, there comes that nice little fucking label because the NCAA bill that they still haven't got rid of the wording of it, that our vets are domestic terrorists because of the training they have. That's why there's a push in the recruiting area to get younger people, younger kids in, because they're already programmed. They're not going to say no. They're not going to disobey orders when something unconstitutional happens. Just like all these police that are polices and nurses are losing their jobs right now because of the fucking vaccine bullshit. See, I consider myself lucky the past couple of years living in Ohio because I got to witness one of the greatest things to ever happen in my time. All these nurses in Toledo, Ohio, just basically said, fuck you. We're not getting the flu shot. And it's spread throughout Ohio to where Ohio is going to have a very hard time forcing anyone to get vaccinated because they made legislation and laws preventing any employer from forcing anyone to get a flu shot or vaccinated. Yes. There is, it's sad. Yeah, there's a meme I posted. Wish I could share screen. One, so I don't have to look at my ugly mug and watch me talk with my hands like I do a lot. But I posted this meme. Actually, I'm going to go read it so I don't screw it up. Basically, the meme had two old farts in bed, one on the left, FDA, one on the right, drug companies. Well, they had another one right next to the bed, laying in a coffin. Patient. FDA approved does not mean scientifically proven. It means that the business deal has been made. For anybody that don't understand, hasn't got the concept yet, how big pharma works, and how our government's so fucking tied up and invested in it. Let me see if I can grab the link. There's a link to it, I think. Yep. Doesn't understand how this concept works. Any drug, especially vaccines, you got it even the quicker route around it. They only got to be tested for 3 days. Drugs is a little bit longer, but not much, before they can actually be thrown out there. There is no scientific trials that should be years of trials that go into a vaccine because they've tricked everybody into you need it for this next year's coming flu or the next booster shot because we tricked you all in the beginning to get the first shot, which does absolutely nothing. So now we tricked you to where you got to have 2 shots. Well, now you have to have a booster. As Biden, did his little expose this week, posing in front of the camera while he got his booster. You take that little needle and shove it so far up your fucking ass because here's what I believe about science. There's a scientific method between things, and there's the actual proven thing. My sister got the jab so far, no side effects. She caught COVID, she had to have a infusion. But she wasn't that sick. Okay. My great uncle, military veteran, Korea, in World War II. Got it. Got COVID. It's perfectly healthy. And died. I've lost 6 cousins to COVID, all of which were vaccinated. Most people I know that have caught COVID have been vaccinated of recently. And I look at myself and a few others that I know. God damn, I'm still standing. Perfectly healthy. Fine. No shots. It also goes, Ramblings of the Chaotic Mind has many meanings. A lot of the stuff I create, they all have meanings inside of it. I've always talked about the power of your mind. I've also talked about this in the previous podcast, I think. I talked about placebos. This is how powerful a person's mind is. And this is going to blow your minds. The scientific information and studies, more people recover from the placebo than they actually do to the drug, which we all know the drugs have so many side effects. Every single drug, you see a list of side effects. But those with the placebo, they don't know they're getting it. That's what a placebo is. It's play on fucking the psyche. Play with your mind. You take it, you think you're taking the real thing because it's a blind scientific study. And people just it's miraculously, it's the cure, the drug works. No. Then later they find out they were on the placebo. That's how strong your mind is. You can trick your mind and think you're taking the real thing and it's going to heal you. But if you keep, we all know the studies on stress, the studies on worry, fear. It tears your body down. It makes you weak. It lowers your immune system, which makes you more susceptible to these things. That's how strong your mind is. Good or bad. Most people, it's your mind that makes it your downfall. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that some things your mind's good. Some things you might need medicine for. No, I said medicine. I didn't say drugs. I didn't say prescription. We've gotten away from the concept of medicine in this country. Why? Because this country has hardly no pharmaceuticals. Most of the pharmaceutical companies are all overseas, and what is here is practically owned by overseas. Then the few that we have a history and track record that I wouldn't want to use any of the products. The idea of the pharmaceutical company is to get you hooked on it so you keep getting it. Don't get me started on the opiate. epidemic. I've seen that firsthand and witnessed how bad that was. Because, here. And they were giving the shit out like candy. I hate pills of any form. I don't even like taking Advil unless I absolutely have to. I look for natural remedies from natural products that you can practically grow in your own fucking garden. I don't go to a doctor unless I absolutely have to. I mean, absolutely. I'll practically have to be on my deathbed to go. And if I do, I want a nurse practitioner. And I think that's what some of the issues are. A lot of nurse practitioners become a lot popular within our communities because they're easier to deal with. They're a nurse, but they can write prescriptions, treat you. And a lot of these nurse practitioners are a lot more apt to prescribe you something other than a pharmaceutical drug. Because in the end, it's about money. It's about all these elites. Most of the people in Congress, this is why, Congress will never allow themselves to have to submit their taxes and their money, because then you'd see, Rob, he said it right. Our fucking politicians need to be fucking wearing NASCAR suits so we can see who's all paying them. Yes, I like, and a lot of the nurse practitioners I know are on the more of the holistic side. It's about understanding things, understanding throughout history. I love history. Natural medicines have been far more effective than any pharmaceutical prescription drug. And we call it a drug for a reason. It is just that. It's more dangerous than you going out there smoking weed. In fact, the scientific studies on the benefits of weed are quite good. It's been around since we've been around. It was natural remedies for the Indians and natives. But wait, if we allow you to use that, you're not going to become addicted to it. You're not going to pay all these. Go to the hospital, go to your doctor, and get fucking raped and taxed out the ass for a fucking pill that doesn't even cost a penny to make. But there's no regulations on them. They made the system so even with vaccines, you cannot sue the company. In fact, how it ends up working, you end up having to go to, it's worse than a kangaroo court. Because you're literally defending yourself against the judge, jury, and executioner, because it's all the same person. The defense that is appointed is also the judge, is also the one. You have no rights to subpoena anything. You have to bring and pay for your own information, your own scientific data. It's less than 1% that actually win their cases when it comes to vaccines. They made it virtually impossible to hold any pharmaceutical company accountable for any side effects from a vaccine. They gave them so much leeway to where they really only have to do a 3-day trial and they can push the vaccine out. Here's the part where it will blow your mind. Here's how strong your mind is, and they know it. They trick you each year to get a flu shot. But what they don't tell you, the flu shot you're getting is for the previous year's flu that you already had and that your body already made immunities to. Not the new one that's coming up. But everybody lines up. Oh, I need that jab. I need that fix. If I don't take it, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get the flu. Well, with that mindset, guess what? You still get the flu because you're already thinking that way. Talk about a rant that I wasn't planning on going on. But while we're still in the medical field, that it's something that actually has struggled in the past week or so. Seeing all these nurses being fired, seeing all these police and people having their jobs threatened. Well, if you don't get a vaccine, you can't work here. Ha! I wouldn't mind having some of that indica. God, I wish Ohio would legalize it. I work at a zero tolerance factory, so I can actually count the years I've been sober. I believe it. In some ways, we still have some freedoms that other countries don't. And that seems like forever. I did a video, the United States is the beacon of the world. We are the hope. It still rings true to this day, and that's what they constantly tried to destroy. And now it's being destroyed from within our own country. Yeah, it's almost made me think about maybe my next move should be a state that it's actually legal in, but I don't care. I'm a rebel to the core. Unfortunately, I'm older and wiser, and I actually like my job, so. And it's nice not having to worry about, a random piss test comes up and, oh shit. So, I got a cake job, so I'm not going to screw it up. Now, maybe when I get tired of it, that might be a different story. I don't see myself getting tired of it. I kind of got it made where I'm at now. I like what I'm doing anyway. But then again, I'm from the north. I'm used to the cold. New Hampshire would be low for me. It actually gets snow. It's just gotten to the point now. I'm not worried about what's thankfully. It's one thing I say. It's why I love my job. I don't even have to worry about this bullshit fucking COVID thing. That Biden is trying to go through OSHA to, loopholes. Like I said, I've stated this in the past. People think I'm absolutely insane. You know who your best lawyers are? They're in prison. We call them jailhouse lawyers. Because that's all they got time to do is go through the legal books. And they'll be the first ones to tell you there's a loophole for everything. And guess what? Every lawyer knows this. Every politician knows this. And OSHA was their loophole. It's not going to be a loophole that they're going to enjoy. Basically, it just ruined OSHA. But OSHA's been a bunch of criminals and crooks since it started, so no mystery behind that one. They're about as bad as our politicians when it comes to side money and lining their pockets. But we are in some troubling water now. People, I think, underestimated Biden. Still do. I think he's a joke. But I know a lot of people thought Trump was a joke too. Yeah, I think he's the one laughing right now. Because now he's basically, yep, see, I told you so. He's right. He was right. I've heard people now that hated him say, he was right. He did do things for our economy. But Biden's fucking favorite word there right before the end of the elections and after, dark winter. Mysteries. Yeah, I like that. That is a good one. I like mine though. Smiley 13 Smiley. I earned that nickname a long time ago, Smiley. But we're not getting into that story. Not even a little bit. That's actually a dark winter story for real. But I live up to that name from time to time. I do smile a lot. It is interesting though. Dark winter. I've heard older generations know the term a little bit better. It was considered nuclear warfare. Dark winter. Super volcano erupts. We'll be in a dark winter. It troubled me every time he said it. But if you look how things have been playing out, how they just cannot drop this pandemic thing because they know they got their foot on our necks, thinking we're going to just bow down and submit. Yeah. There ain't a submissive bone in my body. I'm not a good follower. I'm not going to say I'm a good leader. Don't follow me. It might be a mistake on your part. Follow your own instincts and your own intuition. That's what you should be following. Not what somebody says. Definitely not what the fucking mainstream media says. Oh my God. Psychological warfare. They've got Walt Disney beat. And that's bad. He was the king psychological. Exactly. And it's happened a lot of places. I brought this up last year. Because, lockdown. Ha! I was out more than a lockdown that I've had been in the last 10 years. But I noticed something. When I lived in Ohio, I lived out in the country, rural area. Man, I've seen a lot of farms up for sale. A lot of good acreage, good farmland. All of it up for sale. I got to questioning this because some of it was private sales, private biddings. A lot of this land, these farmlands, have been being bought up by the Chinese. Nobody's paying attention. Oh, it's just another farmer that's tired of farming. And the land sits dormant. Early 2000s, China did the same thing with our steel industries. They went around and bought up all the old steel plants or steel plants that were going out of business. You know what they did? They stripped it all down to a vacant lot, made millions off the scrap, and own the land and do not do anything with it. Nobody ever talked about why. Just like nobody's talking about why there's store shelves shortages in certain areas or places. Like I said, I only seen it in a couple places, and they're basically what I'd consider the new mom and pop store, since they got rid of almost every mom and pop store last year because of the pandemic and lockdowns. So now they're going after the ones that aren't. Walmart, Amazon. Nobody's been talking about that. Maybe you should talk about that instead of pushing the fear porn about store shelf shortages. Yes, I actually can see that. Guys, you're gonna have to pay attention to chat. I can't share screen, so if you guys follow along the chat along with the video, you'll be fine. Normally, like I said, normally I share screen, so you guys don't have to look at me, and I don't have to glance over out of my corner right now. I see me standing there or sitting there. I'm basically an apartment that has hardly no furniture yet. Thankfully, I'll have furniture on Saturday. But it's these little things. This shit happens, and it always happens during like pandemics or major crises. This stuff happens because everybody's focused here instead of what's going on over here. Please tell me. We get caught on the big shiny object that's happening now instead of looking past that and seeing what's happening over here and over here. Because that's what they don't want to see us. Like I said, it's all psychological warfare. It's all shiny little things to, it's going down rabbit holes. They create these rabbit holes for us to go down. The next thing we know, that rabbit hole leads to another, and we're so far away from what they want us to see. There's nothing wrong with going down a good rabbit hole. It's fun from time to time, but there's dangers there. It's just like this constant push for everybody needs vaccinated. Then after everybody gets vaccinated, now everybody's going to need a booster shot. So how do we force everybody? Well, we start with their jobs. In fact, we're going to start with the best one. We're going to start with the healthcare system. Because if you can't get healthcare, you can't get a doctor or a nurse because there's a shortage. Well, guess what? You're going to start causing a divide. And it's all about division, divide and conquer. It's always that. You start off with a division, then you start slowly spreading that divide as far as you can get it to where there's enough chaos going on that nobody sees what's really going on till it's right on top of them. So they're going after our healthcare services. They're going after our protection services, our first responders. This is all going to have an impact. And I did get off full topic earlier. I talked about the greatest thing I watched was when these nurses all fought back in Ohio. going after, saying, we're not going to take the shot. We're going on strike. And they won. Yeah, graphite. They prove that you can take a stand and win. They took such a stand and won so big, they got legislation passed in the state of Ohio that actually prevents Ohio from and any hospital or company in Ohio from forcing them to get a vaccine. They won. We still have that right and freedom if we stand up unified, not divided. But hey, every day's been Halloween, so let's enter the new scare. We're going to fire all these nurses. We're going to fire all these doctors who don't get vaccinated. Uh-oh, we just created another pandemic because we have a shortage. So we're going to bring in the National Guard. Well, before we do that, let's make sure that we get them all vaccinated. And those that oppose it, let's get them out of here. Because they're not going to follow the orders to force others to get vaccinated. Starting to put the pieces together. Am I drawing a pretty little picture now of the little tiny pebbles and ripples they've been causing, all connecting the dots slowly? They've learned for every little thing. They'll set their psychoanalyze it, reanalyze it. Every little false flag that's happened over the last 10 years has been gone over with a fine-tooth comb to where they can find the needle in a million haystacks and pinpoint it. Why? Because they've got control of everybody's minds. They know the triggers. They know how to trigger people. Me? I hope to God I triggered somebody tonight. You'll make my day. Because that's our job. Our job is to trigger you. If you get triggered, that means something within your psyche and your fucking subconscious is speaking out. Which means, therefore, at some point, you're going to question something. You're going to question what I said. Then, yeah, it might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, it might happen 6 months or a couple of years down the road. Something's going to happen in your life, and you're going to remember, oh man, that guy was right. Why? Because I planted a seed. I made you question something. I made you question something because it offended you. It triggered you. That's our jobs. My job's not here to sit here and argue with you who's right or wrong. I give a flying fuck less who's right or wrong. It's my opinion. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Do I know how to use my words? Yes. Do I know how to put triggers and subliminal shit and stuff? Yes. I'm well versed in it. Do I do it? No. Not intentionally. I've caught a couple times where it's like, man, I didn't mean to do that. It's like, I didn't realize I did that. And of course, you can find out something was meant to trigger me anyway. Probably nobody even caught it. But it was something that triggered me that I needed to go look at. We do it all the time. We don't realize it. Our subconscious is an amazing thing. Our mind is an amazing thing that we don't even grasp. Can't even grasp what it's fully capable of. But there's plenty of people that's well versed in using it. Using the aspects, how to manipulate people, how to subliminally nudge people in a direction. Like I said, we're bombarded with images, symbols, sigils, um, probably yeah, every day, and even at night when you go to sleep, because those images will stir when you're sleeping, and that's when they really start working for those that are really good at it. And don't get me started on memes. That's that's straight out of a magician's spell book, and nobody's even the slightest aware. But okay, the problem is what we're seeing right now should be scaring everyone. It should be making them stop, question, think. Okay, what are we gonna do? What is my community doing? You know, the first thing I've said this, I've been saying this for a long. The first thing starts right here in your home. You can't make change happen anywhere else before it starts here with yourself, then within the home. They've done so much, did everything in the early, mid 90s, throughout the 2000s to this day, to strip every parent of the time with their children. Now they especially now, both parents are going to work. We don't got time to sit down most people don't even sit down at the fucking table and eat dinner together as a family anymore. Because we don't have time. Or we're too tired. Speaking of food, I need to go check on my lasagna before I forget and I burn it. I still got 2 more minutes. Yeah, I just told myself. I forgot what I was talking about. Remembered I had food cooking and completely forgot what I was talking about. I'm sure it had something along the lines to do with the crap that we're seeing every day in the house. It starts at the home. There we are. Sitting at the dinner table. Yep, see? Triggered my own memory to remember what I was talking about. Stupid little games like that, guys. You play with yourself to help break that cycle of programming. I mean, I triggered myself to remember that I actually had food cooking because I completely forgot. I really did forget it. I was talking about food, eating at the table, because how many families eat at the table anymore? Because that used to be the time, we'd ask how everybody's doing. What'd you learn in school today? Nothing. I remember those days. Yeah, nothing. We don't have that open communication like we used to in the home. Because we don't have time because, we're too tired. And we need to get back to that because we need to know what our kids are being taught, because they're not being taught what I was taught 20 years ago, give or take. No, it hasn't been that long, has it? Yeah, it's been that long. I know my generation is probably the last generation to actually be taught 90% real history. But anybody knows the true understanding of the history. History is written by the conquerors and those who are in power after, and it keeps going that way. And there's the other story of history that's passed down from descendant, from family, from generation to generation, the unwritten story. There's like 3 to 4 stories in history. But we're taught that this is history. Now our kids are being taught something completely different than we were taught. Why? Because that's not what America is today. That's not Common Core. So they're being, and I shit you not, from about the age of 5 to about 13 is when a child is the most acceptable to being programmed, psychologically manipulated. Just a little food for thought. Because after 13 years, usually comes the rebellious age, which I can see why. They're being taught something completely. I mean, it was like, oh man, oh God, I almost forgot about that. The argument that I had with a 11-year-old. One of my friends, her kids. Oh my God. It was something about history. I can't quite remember what it was. But it didn't happen because that's not what they were taught. Because it was removed from the curriculum. Why? Because that's not what America is today. That's barbaric. It leaves a blemish on what America is today. Oh man, when I can't remember who said that. It was one of the politicians, one of the congressmen, I think, or women, said that. My mouth about dropped. We have those things in our history. We have these monuments for a reason. So we don't repeat those parts of our history. There's lessons to be learned. History is important. But yet, I see what happened in World War II during the Nazi socialist movement happening right here in the United States. I see the writing on the wall. Nobody questioned when we brought all these Nazis to, especially in the alphabet age, we train our FBI, CIA, all these scientists. Nobody questioned during the Revolutionary War. Oh, some did, and they got called Jeffersonians. My great ancestor did. He was considered a Jeffersonian, and he was speaking out and speaking against treaty. Because we'd be in debt to Britain, till Clinton. Think about that. Yeah, I'm somewhere over on Facebook. I'm all over. Why? Because all these platforms is a tool. And I've discussed this, so many people, and this is the other psychological programming warfare, people get caught up, I gotta have all these numbers. Numbers is important. But yet you'll come over here in YouTube, and YouTube doesn't even give you a fraction of the right numbers. You look at my video views. Some of them barely break. I got a few that's broke 100. But most of them, they get about 6, 7 views. So, lucky, maybe 20. But yet I go over to the mines. What? 1,000 views? Well, that's not right. I go over to my WordPress site. Oh, 30 views. I go over to the Facebook group. Wow. But yet, YouTube says I only got 20 views. Or I only got this many likes. And I've watched while likes disappear. Be up like 50 likes and all of a sudden come back the next day and I thought, oh, I must have been half asleep. Yeah, right. I don't give a fuck about numbers. I mean, that's basically playing who's got the bigger dick. I don't care. It's how you use it. Ask any woman it's not about how big it is, it's they know how to use it. Same principle. Each of these are tools. Knowing how to use each platform to get your message across. Then I got people that'll listen to my stuff and go off on their own little channel and like, oh, I'm going to use this. Thank you. I don't want credit. This is free use. I don't give a rat's ass what you do with these videos. I don't care about followers. Why? Because whoever this video is meant for, they'll find it. Because it was meant for them to find it. They'll be drawn to it. And they'll listen to whatever they were meant to listen to and probably stop listening to it. I know I hate hearing my own voice. We get caught up in the numbers game. We get caught up, oh, the Joneses have all this. I need that. I don't care. I don't need all that. That's not going to make me happy. I don't need all these numbers, and I've proven it. Why? I created this channel in 2017. And some of the shit I've talked about. Yeah, I know on the Smoke and Toke show, I know a few choice words were dropped. I'm not going to repeat. Because, well, it was a Smoke and Toke show, and I was drinking... yeah. Me and my Jaeger. I didn't say it anyway. But I don't edit my videos. I said it, I said it. And I'm not the one you want to be playing censorship games with anyway, to begin with. But I have not yet, ever, on this channel, received a strike. Well, some of that has to do with, oh, nobody's going to pay attention to me with less than 100 followers. But yet I've got followers on every platform. You name it, I've been there. Or I am there. I've got friends in every little circle. I've always lived my life. I don't judge people. I don't care what your skin color is. To me, here in the United States, I don't care what color you are. You're my brother and sister. You're an American. As far as the rest of the world, you're human. You're still my brother and sister. Until you wrong me or until you disrespect me. Then it's a different story. And most people know I'm not the one to play with anyway. The point is, you don't need all these numbers to get your message across. In fact, the smaller your channel is, the better likely you're going to slide under the radar. Knowing how to manipulate the system, like I said, everything has a loophole. They use it. It's time you start using it. Yes, Facebook is a joke. It's the most censored platform out there. Closely followed by YouTube. Well, I'll give YouTube a third. Twitter's bad. I spend a lot of my times now on the mines. Facebook's for friends, close friends, and family. And Facebook's really, I try to behave because it's the only way I can talk to my family in Brazil. And that's the only way I can keep up to date. You know? It's the only way I can talk to some of my friends that are in North Carolina or over in Siberia. Not Siberia, but Serbia, UK, Australia. These are all our tools. We got so many tools at our disposal. We only use a fraction of it. Every time the Great Purge comes around Twitter or here on YouTube, we need to find another streaming network. We're going to run over here to DLive. Who pays for that? You do in the end. You lose half you lose a fraction of your followers every time you move and jump sites. Because people get tired of it. Well, I'm not going there. You keep some of your loyal, but eventually even your loyalist followers go elsewhere. And by being in one spot, you're creating yourself an echo chamber. You're not getting interaction from different perspectives. And that is the problem with this country today. We've been taught that if somebody has a different opinion, they are wrong, and we need to distance ourselves from them. And this has been going on for centuries. They know how to pit us against us. They can use religion, race, education, our social background. Now, when I say social, I don't mean as in social platforms. I mean our social background. Middle class, poor, rich, upper middle. I don't know if they use that anymore because most of the middle class is poor. It's the part of the caste system, which I talk a lot about on here, because it's just a repetitive cycle that we've never gotten away from, and probably never will, because people are ingrained. We have to have a leader. We have to have somebody to follow. We have to have somebody to give us directions. Yeah. Hey, doctor, yeah, that doctor, yeah, whatever, Fucci. Oh boy, if people would remember their history, and this is recent history, this happened in the 80s. If people would do their due diligence and actually do their research, we wouldn't have AIDS right now. Because there's actually a cure for AIDS. Has been. It comes from the descendants of the bubonic plague. Those that were infected and lived through it are actually immune to AIDS. And the leading researcher, doctor, scientist, whatever you want to call her, that did the research, found that he basically destroyed her, stole her research. No, I've never heard of Larkin Rose. Here of late, I haven't really been listening to anybody. Okay, actually, I haven't listened to hardly nobody. I've kind of tuned everybody out. Mainly because this year, like I said, I'm close to 360 hours overtime. I've been working. When I do, it's like 13-hour shifts, so I haven't had time to really follow them. Plus, it's that echo chamber. I'm tired of hearing the same repetitive stuff. And the esoterics, repetition is very important. It's also very dangerous. And that's the danger of echo chambers. They become repetitious. And once you start getting caught in that repetitiousness of bad things, you don't hear anything outside that echo chamber. Opposition and chaos is important. We need chaos because, sorry to all you Zennists out there. Perfect balance equals stagnation. We need opposition. We need chaos to grow. We need to question things or we become stagnant. I will. And, it kills people. Because, everyone wants to find their zen, their peace, inner peace. Yeah, inner peace comes through growth. But you're not going to have no growth if you don't challenge yourself. If you don't have these stumbling blocks, these hiccups down the road, along the way. It is nice to get off the unbeaten path. And for me, I'm not a very social individual. I like my solitude. I like my silence. There's a lot of meaning behind that as well. And I've gotten to the point where when I want to say something, I just come out and say it and be done with it. And I don't have time anymore to spend hours sitting in front of here doing these podcasts. And it takes its toll. I learned that the hard way. Just like I was talking about the division. Okay, YouTube censors, we need a new platform. Oh, this platform's up. There's a whole bunch. So you move. You forget about YouTube. Some people just utterly leave, and only a fraction of the followers follow. I learned this lesson back early 2000s, back when I was on all of these Ning platforms, back when I was designing websites, running them. At one point, I think I was over 80 websites I was running or had my hands in. Then censorship. See, they started on, and it's, like I said, sometimes you early misses the simple thing. So a lot of the censorship stuff, crap that we've seen take place, it was all beta tested on these little platforms like Ning to see what they could get away with. And, we learned a valuable lesson from that. We started, okay, we need a new platform. I mean, good things came out of it, but a lot of hard lessons were learned. So we migrated over another one. Oh, they don't have all the features here. But, hey, well, next thing you know, this newly created platform is doing the same thing. So we moved to another platform. Well, there's another fraction of our people. We got tired of moving from spot to spot or on too many websites. And then we lost connection with them. Eventually, we finally got the bright idea. And here's where the real hard lessons got learned. We're just going to create our own platform. I've got the experience and knowledge. I'm going to build our own platform. I had a financier that was going to back me and did. And there for a while, you don't have no college education in this. You're not going to do it. So he started going elsewhere. And he ran into a few hiccups along the way, got screwed a couple of times. Well, in that time, while I was learning and building, I just, here, have a look at this. He's like, wow, I didn't think you could do it. I'm like, anybody can do anything nowadays. Hence, YouTube tool. I was watching professor lectures, how to code, how to do this, how to do that, teaching myself to where I actually was making money on the side, coding, creating platforms, working in, it was, oh my God, worst job ever. Great learning experience. Then I got to sit down with his lawyers and got a 2-hour lecture that just took me from way up here to the very bottom of how much freedom we really have on these platforms. Even if we create our own servers, set everything up, and we were doing that just to find out how far the long arm of the law stretches. Give it up. If you fight them, they'll bankrupt you. And if you keep fighting them after you're bankrupting, they'll bury you. You'll never get on a platform that is truly a true speech platform. Don't tell me Gab is. I've done investigative reports on them. I've busted them 3 times censoring people. Every platform does it. Why? Because if they don't, they'll be shut down. Let's go over to a decentralized crypto platform. Yeah, there's still censorship there. Been there, done that. Maybe less than over here. There is no such thing as a perfect platform. Give it up. Quit it. I've already got read the Riot Act on this. 2 hours of a Riot Act of my concepts of what we can and can do, which we should have the liberty, which is under our constitutional right, to have that liberty to do. Don't work that way. And the part that pissed me off the most about all this, every other fucking country, their rights, their laws are upheld, and honored by every one of these major platforms. But when it comes to our constitutional right to freedom of speech, fuck you. You don't have it. You'll say what we want you to say, or we'll fuck with you. Well, I think everybody remembers that little tirade and what you can do with your fucking censorship. You can shove it up your fucking ass. When you reach your elbow, the ride's over. I don't play that game. I'm all over for a reason. Every video I've done is backed up in multiple spots. Yes, it is time consuming, but it's there. I have backups for every backup. This channel has probably 15 different backups if it ever gets taken down. That's how we need to view things ahead. We have to have backups. We have to have plans. We have to see that writing on the wall. We have to understand why they're pushing. It ain't about getting that jab because, it's going to protect you. It's about getting complete control over everyone. You can't work. You can't go get groceries. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't leave your damn house because you're not vaccinated. We got every last one of you who aren't. You're all on a list. You know, and it's going to come to a point where, fuck you, I've been on a list, so I don't care. You can take that list and shove it up your ass too. Your lists mean nothing to me. But what does mean something to me is what this country's supposed to stand for. And we need to start taking that back. And it does start right at the home. Getting control over what our kids are being taught. Passing down our histories. Start, call me hypocritical if you want. Start finding the like-minded individuals that are drawn to you naturally. Start having conversations. Openly talk to people. I love them. I know. I say I'm not social. I'm not. But I like going into stores. I don't mind waiting in line because it gives me a chance to talk to somebody. It gives me a chance to listen. I don't even have to say a word. Silence is beautiful too. Hear what everybody else is talking about. Be the little fucking invisible guy standing there nobody's paying attention to, but you're hearing everything. And I tell you what, there's more of us out there than there is of them right now. And they know it. We just got to find a way to put all of our little differences aside and realize that. Because it's going to need that. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. Doesn't matter what your religious preferences are. Because we ain't going to have any of that. And we keep letting things go the way they're going. And that's God's honest truth. Nobody wants to live in an echo chamber where everybody has the same opinion. Nobody will dare speak anything other than that. What are we learning? Nothing. We're stripping our identities away, our freedoms, our free will, when we subjugate ourselves into those types of atmosphere to where we just think as a collective and not a whole. Not a whole. Collective is a whole, not as an individual.
we cannot lose our individuality. Because our individuality is what our freedom is. It is who we are. It's what keeps our mind free. And we got to start finding people that are also like that. And then I don't care if you're just, hey, if you're just going to talk, if you got a chicken coop, you're going to show it off. Feel free to talk about it. Back when I was gaming, we talked politics. We talk about everything while gaming, doing live streams. Perfect time to engage people, a different audience. That's what these platforms are. It's a different audience. Nothing wrong with being on a bunch. Plus, you're allowed to get you to see other things that's going on, things that you're not catching on Twitter because it's so suppressed. I'll be right back. I gotta turn this off before I do burn my food. Yep. Look, so I need to buy some oven mitts. Which I don't know why I'm giving a note to stuff on a video that I'm not going to go back and watch. Like I said, I can't stand hearing my own voice. It comes a time, the point where everybody's different. Everybody will go reach that point when enough's enough. When is enough enough? For me, enough was a long time ago. That's why I created this channel and started talking about things that I don't normally talk about, other than with select friends. And there's still some things that get talked about with only select friends and never make it here, because those things shouldn't be talked about in the open. There's a time and place for everything. Unfortunately, we got people that like to play with that time and place. Try to push things to where people will react without thought. So they can use them as an example to shut things down. There's just so much that there's to enjoy outside of all the chaos. It sucks when you gotta come back into it. Put your mud. Now you don't even take the time to put your mud boots in to walk through the shit, because you just gotta get in there and do your part. A little sacrifice here and there never hurts anyone. But I like to get back to doing somewhat normal streams. Yes, I do miss it, but there's a part that I me that doesn't. Because there's just all that negativity you end up going through. That's why I kind of put an end to doing some investigating reports that I was doing previous. Some of those led to some dark places. And a lot of that never even got streamed or talked about, because it's just, no. And that's the problem. Me, I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm adventurous by nature. I don't like staying in one spot anyway. So I get around a lot. Don't and I get to listen, observe. That's why when I see things like Daryl ran about these food stores. I do know some places where it's happening. I know some people where it's that I've seen it, but after I brought up, well, one of the places I've really seen it has been like these smaller grocery stores, not the big Walmarts. And sometimes I've watched Walmart do it intentionally. I've caught this. They got in the back, whole back in the freezer section. You see a whole stack of nothing but milk, but the milk section's empty. They do it on purpose. I've seen where and some of those stuff, maybe people just forgot. I've been in shopping. I like shopping at all the store, like canned goods and stuff. I get a bulk. Usually get bulk. I can walk out of there with about 2 carts full for $100. Where, one bag, maybe 2 at Walmart. Get the point. But even still to this day, since the lockdown and all this shit started, on some of the products, Aldi still has, you can only buy so many. Some places have kept that. Maybe people just forgot. We got to be careful of what we put out there. I know there's an issue with lumber. I know that in certain states, there's semis parked along the road, not moving. But what's the reason behind it? There's always a plan. There's always an action. There's always something going on for a reason. Some of that, like I said, is phase 2. Let's get rid of the next mom and pop stores, the smaller businesses. We weren't able to shut down the smaller business because they're a little bit bigger and could have a little bit better survivable rate than the mom and pop stores. Now let's go after them. That's where I've seen it. I see where it hurts the most was undermine the construction fields. Let's slow down the lumber. Let's pay people to sit at home. It's all about money. I know a lot of people have got into the crypto area. Not a fan. Never have been, never will be, but it's a tool. But you didn't see that one coming. The truth is, everything's a tool. My mentor would be happy to hear me say that. I can just hear him laughing in the background now. You finally get it. No, I got it back then. I just didn't accept it. Because it's a harsh reality. Everything's a tool. Everything has a purpose, a reason, and a place. When you no longer need a tool, what do? You put it away. If the tool's broke, what do? You discard it. Everything has a purpose, everything has a meaning. Clear it down to people. And that's the harshest reality of it. It's kind of a natural process, too. People are drawn to you for a reason. You stumble across a video or you stumbled across it for a reason. Half chance you meet somebody now that just says something. It could be a perfect stranger you're walking by, he says something, and it just triggered you. Because he was talking to nobody. Why did he say that? Or why did she say that? I don't know. Maybe now everybody's been so programmed that they don't pay attention to things like that. But I know I've had plenty of those experiences. I know other people that have too. That's the importance of our mind, keeping it free. Because that's a message that was meant for us. To somebody else, I'm a tool. I have something that they need at that time. Now, some tools, like back in the day, good old Craftsman's. I mean, I still got my grandfather's Craftsman's. Better than what's made today. It's outlast anything they make today. They put a lifetime warranty back then on a product that they knew you probably wouldn't return your lifetime. My grandfather didn't. My dad didn't. And guess what? I haven't yet. Some tools you'll use a lifetime. Others you'll put away. And some you'll just discard. It's a harsh reality, but it's the truth. Everything's a tool. Use it. Learn to use it. That's the process of freeing your mind, changing the perspective of how you think. Because let me tell you something. Some of the things that I've dropped in this thing is the very things that they use against you every day. So if you don't want to be the ones always being tricked, deceived, misguided, brainwashed, start using the tools. We don't call it psychological warfare for nothing, because it is warfare. And it's not who's got the bigger gun, because you got the same ability. You have the same ability to talk to somebody while you're standing in line or gassing up, talking to people at work. They don't want you to. They've programmed you that, oh, you're going to trigger this person. That's why they use the word trigger. You're going to offend. No, what you're doing is making that person think. You're making them question something. It doesn't have to be an argument, but then again, some of the greatest advancements, achievements, greatest creations started over a debate, an argumentative debate that led to a breakthrough. If we don't do that, we're not making breakthroughs. Now, there's a reason I call this rambling with a chaotic mind. I've been all over the place. I don't know if I even stayed on topic this time. I'm pretty sure I have. I usually do. Or usually find a way to get back to the subject I was originally going to talk about, which never end up talking about what I was originally going to talk about. Dark Winter, though. Yep. He's trying his best to make sure everything is dark. He's using every playbook and every trick that every dictator, oppressor has used. The very concepts that we broke away from, that our founding fathers, my forefather, fought against. And he stripped him and his fucking minions, which they're all puppets. That's true. They're all puppets. Somebody else is pulling their strings. That's why, everybody gets so big on the fucking, what's Lunenburg? Or is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't care. Bilderberg? Yeah, Bilderberg. I don't care. While you guys are all running over here, let's see what's really happening. It's a distraction. They're all pawns. They're all cannon fodder. It's a strategic move. If you're something shiny, you're all going to run over here. These guys aren't doing shit, making up anything other than we're paying them to sit here so we draw attention. But nobody wants to listen to that part. Secret societies, oh my god. I got one. You want to join? Yeah, most of you wouldn't even think about it. I don't need nothing secret. You know what's the best secret? The best hiding place of them all is right in front of your eyes. You're not going to see it. The dirtiest illusionist trick of them all. Nothing magical about it. They do it all the time. Psychological warfare is the same principle. tricking your mind to see something else. Wow. They do everything they do right in front of you. You're caught over here. Pay attention. Open your eyes. And don't give me that red pill, blue pill crap. Because that is nothing but division. And I'm tired of hearing the same story told over and over. I can go clear back to the Bible, the Garden of Eden on that one. The red pill, the apple, the forbidden fruit. It's about division. If I can divide you, I win. So we're going on red pill. Fuck this blue pill. I'm Republican. I'm dead. Fuck the labels. Literally, quit using labels to define you. Because they don't define you. They subjugate you. They enslave you. Put your mark here. That is who you are. You're a mark. You're not a person. You're not an individual. You have no individuality. Labels are meant to divide. Labels have meaning. They have power, lots of power. Labels trick the mind. But with that said, I'm going to keep this video under 2 hours, and I'm almost at the 2-hour mark. And that lasagna is smelling so good, and I'm starving. I'm going to leave you with a little food for thought. For anybody that makes it this far in the video, which if you do, I commend you. I don't know if I could have made it this far in the video listening to my voice. I know I couldn't. I've only got past the first minute. Next time you're somewhere out and about, just shut up. Don't think. Listen. Use your hearing. Listen to what people are talking about. Don't question it. Don't think about it. Just listen. As you're walking through the store, just listen to everybody's conversations. How much do those conversations mirror your own thoughts? So why aren't you engaging with those people having the same conversations? Why aren't you bringing that back to when you sit down at the dinner table? Oh wait, we don't sit down at the dinner table anymore. Well, maybe one day of the week, find that time for you and your family to sit down at the dinner table, or you and your friends to sit down at the dinner table. Talk about the things you overheard. Doesn't need to be an argument. Does not need to be a debate. I just heard somebody talking about this. I can't believe that there's this many people talking about these things. When we open our eyes and start using all of our senses and paying attention, we'll find that there's more people alike who just scared to talk because they've been told, man, you say this, you say Trump, they know, man, they're going to go ballistic. They got everybody scared. And that's the truth. Everybody is living in fear like it's fucking Halloween. And they're a bunch of kids scared of the boogeyman. Man, you should be the boogeyman. They should be scared of you. Our forefathers directly, openly said this. If the government does not fear the people, the government will become tyrannical. And we will lose our freedoms. Because our forefathers and founding fathers set it up to where, yes, we elected them, but we also could unelect them. Of course, back then, politicians were less likely to come up with say absurd things and bring up absurd ideas that contradicted what our founding fathers said, because they'd be taken out back and dueled. Go read how many duels Andrew Jackson won. How he became president, that man must have been one hell of a marksman or a fencer, because yeah. We don't have that anymore. We got a bunch of congressmen. They go in there and become corrupt. Why? Shit, we can take this money, we do what we want. They have no fear of the people that elected them. They think they represent their state, but once they get put into Congress, they represent the United States, not the state. They represent all of us. Don't make me go there with what our founding fathers would have already done by now. They wouldn't have put up with this bullshit. In fact, the American people back then wouldn't have put up with this bullshit. Because this is exactly what we fought to get away from. Remember your history. Remember the oaths that you've taken. If you're a cop, if you're in the military, remember the oaths you take. If you're a doctor, you take a Hippocratic oath. Quit lying to people. Quit denying people because they're not vaccinated. You took a Hippocratic oath to treat them no matter what they are. Yes, Free Spirit Press, they are. Oh, they're not rolling over the graves. They're screaming. How do we create a nation full of cowards? That's what they're screaming. How did you guys destroy what we created? I would not want to be keel over dead and have to meet one of my four founding fathers. Because they're going to ask, what the fuck? How? And we all should be asking that, what the fuck? How did we let things get this far? When did we let a bunch of bureaucratic tyrants take over everything? Well, they were trying clear back from the founding. We called them loyalists. The Loyalist Party. As you remember, back then there was no parties, really. But, you had the Loyalist Party, then you had those they would deem you're a Jeffersonian. Well, proud to be a Jeffersonian, I guess. I don't like labels, but if it means that I'm not going to take your bullshit and believe everything you try to feed me as a lie, then I guess that would make me a Jeffersonian. Nah. just makes me somebody smart. Don't believe everything I hear, and definitely don't trust people I put in power. Because power corrupts, period. Always has, always will. And I don't even say the word righteous or good intentions. What is good for you may not be good for me. And it's a matter of opinion and perspective. Too many holy wars were fought over righteous causes. Too many wars have been fought over righteous causes. There's no such thing as righteousness in any type of warfare, politics. There's nothing righteous about it. There's nothing righteous about, I'm this label. If you're not, you're the devil. You're evil. There's nothing righteous about that. History has shown us that's all that leads to is bloodshed, division, separation, power being given to those that are laughing at us because they're doing exactly what they want. We're giving away our freedoms. Think about that. On that note, I just passed the 2-hour mark, so I am done. I'm going to rest, eat, relax, enjoy my last full day or last evening off work. Because tomorrow night I will be back to work. Then starting next week I'll be on my new schedule, which I'm looking forward to. Because I'll have 3 days off. 4 10-hour shifts. 3 days off, I'm all for that. Especially after this year. Much overtime I put in. Oh. And I'm going to try maybe to fit some more podcasts in here and there. But right now I'm enjoying the approach. If I want to come on, I'm going to come on. If I got something to say, I'll say it. Other than that, carpe diem. Life's so much simpler that way. And I got time to smell the roses while I'm at it. And when it's time to say something, I'll say it. Other than that, I'm living with today like it's my last. I'm not going to schedule nothing. I'm not going to say I'm going to do something because no, it don't work that way. It never worked right for me that way. I like spontaneous. If I feel the need to say something, I'll come on, do a podcast. But other than that, I'll see you when I see you, which probably won't be too long. I got a lot to say. I usually go through that phase. Normally this time of the year, I'm actually disappearing for a couple months. But I guess I've been away for a while, so. And right now I feel that, it's kind of important to keep my face out there. You guys can thank Melissa Trees for talking me into throwing the cam on. Well, I can't stream. Normally I'd be screen sharing, but I can't do that right now. So for some odd reason. And time to time, it's nice to show my face. So there's actually a real person behind the screen, even though I can't stand it. But it does help on that little aspect of I don't mind having my picture taken from time to time. I've got over that paranoia of having my picture taken, I guess. And plus, it does help. Sometimes, I've said this in the past, sometimes it's important to actually show your face when you're talking about serious topics, because I'm not making much eye contact, mainly because I got this bright ass light in my face because I don't got furniture yet and no lighting in this room other than a light all the way down there and that bedroom light in there, and this area is pretty dark, so I decided to I bought all this crap for videoing. Might as well put some of it to use. So, you know, just like I'm going to put some of my cameras to use this weekend. Go out. It's a good time of the year. Get some pictures as the leaves start turning. Plus, I'll be starting getting more active with this as it starts getting cooler out. It's kind of like being out when it's kind of colder. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I rambled, but hey, it's rambling in the chaotic mind. If you haven't figured that out yet, you're in for a treat. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. And don't be so serious. Enjoy life in this chaotic world that we're in right now. Because that's going to help free your mind as well. Getting away from the chaos. Stepping away from things. Sometimes stepping away is good, especially when we're bombarded with so much crap that's designed to psychologically manipulate you. Enjoy the rest of your week. You guys be safe, and I'll see you on the next one.